Hey guys, coming with you with my new deck of 2020, my FA Rip Crosser. Let's go. Dragonfly's here, by the way. For the number for ones ofs, one FA Rip Crosser. This card is really broken if you think about it, and that's the reason why I only play one of it is because every time your opponent goes to activate a card effect that's a monster's effects are lower than this guy's level, he has to pay 300 life points for it. The reason why this card's broken is because every time you activate an FA spell card, every time you activate an FA spell card, he gains a 1 level, and plus your fill spells boost your card guides up by 2 levels. So either way, he's going to be almost 12 levels throughout the entire game, and you can just keep him on board because you just keep gaining attack by 300. So any cards under his level, your opponent has to pay 300 life points. So pretty much he makes it so your opponent can't activate card effects without paying life. Also, if they're 7 or higher in his level, he makes it so your opponent can't discard cards or send cards from grave. So this is really good against hand traps, because he can't send cards to grave to activate card effects. So this is really good against hand traps, that's why I play one of it, because it's broken. Two Zos, I play 2 FA Hang On March. He lets me pretty much... He's unaffected by opponent's card effects, or monster effects, whose level is lower than him. Also, any card, if this card is level 7 or higher, any cards that he gets sent to grave are banished instead. To my opponent's graveyard are banished instead. So, this card is really good when it comes to making your opponent not have any cards in grave, which I love doing. Next up on the list is your 2 copies of FA Dark Dragster. Really, you just need to play 2 of this because it's not an easy summon. So it's a hard summon. And he pretty much just, you take 3 away from this card. And if you do 3 levels from it, and then once you do, you can destroy 1 card on the field, which is really good against your opponents when they have big boss monsters out. Going to the 3 Zelda monsters, I play 3 copies of FA Auto Navigator. This is one of the mini tuners in this deck. He's an easy summon. I'll add the target 1 FA monster you control, whose level is higher than its original level. Special summon this card, and if you do, reduce that target's level by the difference between its current and original level. If this card is normal summon or special summon, you can add 1 FA spell from your deck to your hand. So, if this card's normal summon, it helps you go and search for an FA card, which is also really good. It's kind of like Cyber Dragon for this deck, but just not. Well, it's a fun deck. That's all I'm gonna say. Next up on the 3 is my FA Turbo Charger. The reason why I play 3 of him is because he can't be targeted for attacks except this card. So, if he's level 7 or higher, or your opponent's monsters whose original level is rank is lower than this card's level, can't target monsters for attack except this card, this one. The opponent can't target except this one when this card affect monsters whose level it pretty makes it so that this guy is like a blocker to your other FA cards, so that your opponent can't target him for, can't attack him, can't target him with other card effects except for this guy. So this is really good, and he's also a level 6, so he already 1 more level and he becomes level 7, so it's really good. That's why I like playing 3 of it, because just getting 2 of it on board is just too good. Next up on the list of 3s, and the last of the FA build of the deck, is FA Sonic Mister. This card's really...
green towel.
Okay. This card's really good because if its level and rank higher monsters that your opponent controls is lower than it, it can't be destroyed by battle. And if it's 7 or higher, this card attacks twice. So this card's really good for the deck, especially since it's a double attacking card. Moving on to the Tiny Spirit, and the only Tiny Spirit I play in the deck is Adada, because she's an easy summon if I control no effect monsters, and she's also a level 1 tuner, which I like playing more level 1 tuners in the deck because all my other monsters are pretty much leveling up each time I activate an FA spell card, so it's really good. Moving on to the Dino-Miss engine, I play one Dino Cetratops because if all monsters I control are Dino-Miss minimum of 1 and no other Dino-Miss Cetratops, I can special summon this card. So it's easy. It's another easy special summon into a level 5. Brachio. Pretty much, if I control no Dino-Miss monsters in my main monster zone, and your opponent controls a monster that's higher attack on the field, even if it's tied, I can special summon this card. So it's again another easy level 5 summon. Also to get pendulum support in the deck. Next up on the twos ofs is, well, other ones ofs are Ankylosaur and Plesiosaur. Their effects aren't really that good for much of anything, so I really just use them in here for just 6-drop pendulum scales. Also to protect my other Dino-Miss cards if I have any on board. Next up on the twos of the Dino-Miss cards and the last of the monsters are Dino-Miss Stegosaurus. Again, if another pendulum card monster you control battles an opponent's monster after damage calculation, you can destroy this card, those monsters. So he pretty much helps if I attack with one of my Dino-Miss monsters. It pretty much helps me destroy my opponent's monsters as well, if they destroy mine. Moving on to the spells. One copy of FA Downforce. It lets me increase one of my FAs by 2 until the end of the turn during the main phase, except the turn this card was sent to grave. You can banish this card from your hand, then target one FA monster you control and increase its level by 2 until the end of the turn. So it's an easy level gainers during my main phase and also during my second turn. One Monster Reborn, so I can get more FAs to board if I need them. One copy of FA Winners, because it's not really that good of a card. It's just in here just in case if I need it, really. 2 copies of FA Pit Stop. This card's in here so I can target monsters FAs I control, and then for every pit stop in my grave, I could draw a card equal to the number of FA pit stops in your grave. So if I have one in grave and I activate another one, I get to draw 2 cards off of it. Next up on the twos of spells is my FA Test On. This helps me destroy my opponent's cards on board by just switching one of my FA's battle positions. Pot of Advers to shuffle 5 monsters back into the deck and draw 2, and since it's no longer on the ban list, you could play up to 3 copies of it now. Moving on to the threes of spells, or your 3 copies of FA City Grand Prix. I'm using this card because it's useful for other. It's one of the. I could say it's actually one of the best. You get 2 fill spells. In this deck, you get 2 filled spells. I say FA City Grand Prix is the best one because it doesn't just increase during your main phase, it increases during the battle phase as well. So it's really useful to get more damage to your opponent, so you don't always have to worry about levels during the main phase and battle phase, because this will do both of it. so it's really useful. And also, if this card is destroyed, you can go and add an FA card from your deck. So, except for Grand Prix, so you can't search the same field spell with the field spell, but you can go and add any other FA card you need, which I say is really good. Next up and last of spells, your 3 copies of Pot of Duality. This card is just in here to get extra cards to hand if I'm having a broke hand and I need some support or a card that I need and I don't have. Moving on to traps, 1 copy of the Deep Grave. Target 1 monster in either player's graveyard during the next standby phase. Special summon it from the grave. So it's in there just to get more monsters from my graveyard and something else just to toy with my opponent with. Last of the traps, 2 Magical Cylinders, just for a meme. Because who plays Magic Cylinders much anymore except for magicians, right? Moving on to extra deck, 1 Space Insulator, just because I needed links, and 1 board blocker to protect my infinite spells, and including my fill spell once returned by destruction. 1 FA Dawn Dragster, and 1 FA Motorhome. These are the only 2 syncros I have right now. I want to see if there's any more FA synchro monsters. I know there's a link, I just don't have it yet. But these cards are really good because this negates your opponent's spells and traps. This card lets you bring back FA monsters from your grave to your board if it's levels 13 or higher. Also, it can't be destroyed by battle or if it's levels 11 and higher, so it's really good. And it starts off at a level 9, so. But, that is my FA deck profile of 2020. I hope you guys enjoy. Peace.